Korin Locke was just a gamer who woke up inside the world of the heroic legend of Arhan, a game he knew inside out. At first he wasn't worried. After all, he wasn't the protagonist. That role belonged to Park Si-hoo, the hero destined to defeat the final boss. Korin believed all he had to do was survive and follow the script. But the deeper he followed Si-hoo, the more things felt wrong. Missing heroines, twisted quests, and secrets buried beneath the surface. By the time he uncovered the truth, it was horrifying. The so-called hero was a monster, farming the blood of the heroines and hiding an obsession far darker than any final boss. Korin died, betrayed and powerless after Hero failed to defeat the final boss alone. Now return to the very beginning. He's no longer naive. This isn't a game. The hero is the threat, and Korin's only goal now is simple. Stop Si-hoo before he becomes unstoppable, so he could calmly enjoy his wonderful school life together with the beautiful girls at the academy. Korin soon wakes up to find that he has been regressed to the point where he first started 3 years ago. He vows to not repeat what happened and needs to kill Park Si-hoo. Korin needs to kill the main player. Some time ago, the system notified us that an incident with the Rotian River had happened. The dam broke, causing tons of water monsters and villagers in the town to be drowned. At such a devastating incident, Park Si-hoo laughs, finding it amazing. At that time, Korin looked at him blankly. He didn't understand his joy, but now when he thinks of it, he realizes that Park saw his own advantage in it, an opportunity to monopolize his experience. Though Korin decides to stop him now, as long as he stays a rank 5 rookie like him. Additionally, all possible power-ups are concentrated in Merkaba Academy. Park Si-hoo, who came back stronger after entering the academy, may not be a monster right now, but no one knows how fast his power will grow. In that case, the admissions will start 5 days from now, so the best option is to kill Park Si-hoo right now. While running and picking up mushrooms, he gets a system notification informing him about a tutorial quest to save people, along with the security guards, as the carriage traveling towards Merkaba City broke down in a forest of infected monsters. In the forest with infected monsters, Leon and Laura, the security guards, just killed a small rabbit monster that came in their way, being happy about it. While the fixer calls out for them, the carriage is fixed now, but as soon as they turn towards the carriage, a rank 2 werewolf appears in front of them, roaring loudly, filling the air with its terror. Korin has already arrived at the forest, but feels like it is too late since he has not arrived at the exact location yet, but can still hear the roaring and howling of the monsters. Simultaneously, Leon makes Laura get out of the way, and tries dodging the monster's attack. Seeing him struggle, Park Si-hoo, who is also in the carriage, runs out of it, trying to buy Leon some time. Meanwhile, Korin stands near the bushes, wanting to see if Park Si-hoo will save these people or not. As soon as Park Si-hoo stands face to face with the monster, he notices it grabbing Leon's throat with its deadly paws. With trembling hands, Park Si-hoo tries to attack the monster to save his companion, but before he could do that, Alicia Arden, the second daughter of the Arden family, who possessed Odachi, one of the 6 king swords, immediately jumps out of the carriage out of nowhere and attacks the monster, promising to handle this monster alone and assuring Park Si-hoo to get back. Just then, something familiar to Korin happens, and Park Si-hoo stabs Alicia from behind with his dagger. This makes Korin realize that Park Si-hoo was always the evil he wasn't able to recognize after all. Alicia looks at him with pleading eyes, not understanding the reason behind the betrayal, but Park Si-hoo pretends that his hand slipped. On the flip side, Korin is very well aware that if Alicia dies in this quest, then it will help Park Si-hoo to get his hands on the Odachi, and because of that, he would be joining Lunya Arden's party, the Great Swordsman, which is even worse. Although Alicia is so strong that even after being stabbed, she takes an attacking stance and jumps back several times, increasing the distance between her and the werewolf. Calming herself down, she uses her exceptional footwork skills, emitting a very strong energy, concentrating energy in her sword. Upon realizing she would be able to kill that monster alone, he throws the dagger filled with dark energy at Alicia, yet she blocks this dagger with her sword, coming to the conclusion that the excuse about slippage of hand was just a lie. Alicia then turns around to face the monsters and spots it near her face, its mouth widened to swallow her. She swings her sword with swift movement, managing to land a blow, plunging the sword into the werewolf's head, though the werewolf still bites her head. Alicia and the werewolf fall on the ground while Park Si-hoo grabs her Odachi, planning to stab her one final time, thinking about killing the NPC will bring in EXP too. Before he could kill Alicia, Korin secretly threw a powder that was coated on tapanic mushrooms, which are the favorite of forest monsters, so as soon as it was thrown on him, the forest monster lunged forward to attack him. Seeing the opportunity, Alicia is being dragged at the corner by Korin. He thanks God as she is breathing. However, Korin uses his dagger to remove the monster's fangs, but in the meantime, Park Si-hoo sees him dragging her. Korin stands there unfazed, mocking him for having an Odachi, since he killed 3 hornets in 1 minute. When Park Si-hoo looks at him closely, he immediately recognizes it is none other than Korin Locke. Park Si-hoo takes a defensive position, gripping his Odachi tightly, demanding to know how he'd get there, which makes Korin realize that Park Si-hoo might have forgotten everything, taking it as a chance. Distracting Park Si-hoo, Korin charges forward swiftly, swinging his fist at Park Si-hoo's head and throwing the dirt he picked up from the ground at his eyes. To defend himself, Si-hoo wields the sword in the air but obviously misses the attacks. Korin dodges these strikes but understands that Park Si-hoo is a mediocre swordsman, moving fast enough. Pushing himself forward, Korin grabs the monster's fangs, aiming at his throat, but Park Si-hoo manages to open his eyes, counter-attacking at the last moment. Korin lunges forward, aiming the fang at Park Si-hoo's throat, intent on ending this fight, but once again, Si-hoo evades. The frustration burns in Korin's eyes. He wants nothing more than to see that fang buried deep inside Si-hoo. He charges, swinging his free arm as an act while bringing the fang in for another strike. Caught off guard by the hidden move, Park Si-hoo stumbles back, fear flashing across his face. Korin crashes into him, slamming him to the ground and driving the dagger into his shoulder. Blood spills out of the wound, though terror washes over Si-hoo's face when he spots Korin aiming the fang towards him with his other hand. Desperate, Si-hoo uses his hand to block the strike, letting the fang stab through it to avoid a blow that will make him dead. But Korin is unstoppable. He grabs the fang with both hands and pushes, forcing it down with every ounce of strength, until the fang finally sinks into Si-hoo's throat. Killing him was necessary. He is a monster seed, which would have grown further, causing numerous disasters for humanity. Just then, the system notifies us about an error occurring and player Park Si-hoo being dead. The percentage of successful completion of the main plot is calculated by analyzing the potential of the player and passing the experience points and the minimal backup down in case of a scenario that collapses minimal stats of Park Si-hoo to him. He's now an AADA class knight, the Martial Master's successor, sub-player. Korin is about to rejoice about this, yet his focus shifts to Alicia gasping for air. Reaching out to her, he notices her being affected by the peacock tree frog's poison. He notices the fang in her stomach, knowing during training it is difficult to create this poison without using various combinations, and if Park Si-hoo's skills were a little higher, she would have been dead up till now. But since the fang is still inside her, she needs to detoxify, and the bleeding should be stopped as well. Tightening the belt around the area of her injury, Korin stops the bleeding. Though he knows biting her own tongue would create a problem, he brings Park Si-hoo's dead arm to her mouth so that she could bite on it. Additionally, he wraps his shirt around her waist, and now she is lying on the ground peacefully, while Korin prepares the antidote. Meanwhile, as the antidote is being prepared, Korin's mind races with thoughts. He is not aware of how he traveled 3 years back, but things aren't the same. He killed a player and even saved someone. His thoughts are interrupted when Alicia murmurs to know his name, but Korin suggests she rest, ignoring the question. He wants to keep everything about himself confidential. He reminds himself of the situation, the story of the heroic legend of Arhan. This hero will be rescuing the world, taking down tons of monsters, including the final boss. Park Si-hoo was in the story so that the world would end, so Korin has a chance to be that hero. Though even after being a sub-player, he is not allowed to use the player's equipment and staff. While drawing a circle on the ground, he thinks of using factors external to the system. Then suddenly powerful flames erupt from the small magic circle. They swirl and then vanish just as quickly. However, he knows it worked. In his previous life, though naturally weak to magic, he had devoted himself to studying one thing: runes, ancient symbols of immense magical power. Duty, restriction, oath. 3 primal laws, the source of superhuman strength. Now, with nothing left, he decides to engrave all 3 runes onto his body. While engraving these 3 runes, he promises to not turn a blind eye to the misfortunes of good people, not to perceive spirits, and to save the world. With all 3 commandments being completed, they will be applied to the player. However, failure to uphold the oath will result in certain death. Sometime later, Alicia opens her eyes after a very long sleep. She is surprised to see herself in a bed, and as soon as she wakes up, she feels the pain she received from her recent injury. Though the nurse there informs her about being in Merkaba City Emergency Hospital and suggests she not move. Curious, she wants to know about the person who left her here, but she ends up disappointed after getting to know that her savior already left. On a nearby table, she notices her savior's belt, which still has her blood on it. To ignore it, she demands honey bomb candy from the nurse, yet gets frustrated upon getting strict instructions to have stew for now. It has been 3 days since that incident in the forest, and today is the day for Merkaba's entry test. While searching for his ID in the wallet, Korin notices a letter in there. It is from his mother, telling her son how proud she is, and advising him to help the people around him. After possessing this body, Korin felt pretty strange, though he is now one of them, the ones in his family, due to the fact that they never treated him without change. Pressing forward, at the train station, there are many people looking in different directions with different emotions. A girl, Mariette Dunalef, the same one who was trapped by Park Si-hoo, a first-class, second-year Merkaba mage, waves and greets those new students to gather. After a time when the train leaves, Mariette points at the training room and introduces herself to everyone. Mariette is someone who walks forward on a smooth road while getting everyone's blessings. However, tables turn pretty quickly, people face numerous mishaps, and there are tragedies that will be happening to Mariette Dunilef in the future. She is the first act's final boss. After completing their journey, students are advised to get off while taking one potato and sweet potato each by Mariette, and then she bids them all farewell. Students come to the Freedom Hall of Merkaba Academy. Corin immediately notices the magic circle above them, realizing that the space expansion magic is starting soon. As the space expansion magic takes place, the hall turns into darkness, making all the students freak out, though Corin stands there unfazed, already experiencing all of it. A voice can be heard in the darkness to motivate students who are backing off. It is the voice of the old Haman. All of it is the same as before, as if they are in a training camp. Instantly, a man steps out from the darkness. Furman Daman, Night Faculty Professor. He wants to see every student's capabilities, so a system window appears in front of every student. It is the overall rank of each one of them. That being said, they all have to stand in front of the number sign matching their number. As soon as Furman wishes them luck, all of them are teleported to a different location, since the battle is starting soon, to analyze their skills. Josephine Clara is amazed to see this year's students have a lot of hidden talent, but she decides not to judge the first or second ranked students yet, and to wait until all the others have been assessed. In the second position is Alicia Arden, the same girl saved by Corin, Uel, Dronworski, and Cranel Luden, and in the first position is Huarin. However, it is shocking for Josephine to see Huarin being enrolled. At the same time, the examiner feels disappointed seeing the 5th rank students being so weak. He hesitates to test the 6th rank ones, thinking they'll be even worse. Yet Josephine doesn't let him do it because each student deserves to learn. Not having much of a choice, the examiner announces that the test will start in 30 seconds. Monsters will appear based on the students' levels. Before all the students, weapon cases are dropped. In his previous life, Corin chose a sword. Most of the students chose the same weapon, but this time, Corin uses a spear, a better weapon than the others. 30 seconds pass as soon as Corin chooses the weapon, and 3 short hounds, 5th rank monsters, appear in his space. Corin smirks, looking at them. Meanwhile, they roar, their eyes filled with hunger. Abruptly, one of the short hounds attacks Corin but ends up being dead in the blink of an eye. This makes the other hounds furious, and they lunge forward, but they disappear in seconds after being defeated by Corin. He can't help but smile due to the fact that he has way too much experience killing these species. It took Corin 12 seconds to kill these hounds. Killing them in such a short time hits him with nostalgia, since in his past life, he couldn't kill these monsters in the first round and got eliminated immediately. Though this time, he is just standing there waiting for the next wave to come, knowing he is going to pass this test with flying colors. But it is kind of disappointing for him as the next wave is not starting yet. Meanwhile, the examiner looking at them from the screen is hella disappointed with the players who are being defeated by such small monsters, remembering his time when he used to kill 5th rank monsters in a total of 1 minute and 22 seconds. However, he doesn't even plan on looking at the 6th rank players after seeing the condition of the 5th ones, although his gaze shifts to Corin, who is a player of 6th rank, assuming that there might be a bug as there are no monsters coming. Ignoring him, he looks for other passers, taking 7 minutes, while assuming that the 3rd rankers will be needing 2 to 3 minutes only. Little does he know that it is a lot. Corin has killed the monsters in 12 seconds only. Though the odd feeling gets back to the examiner, he can't help but ask his manager if there is a system malfunction, since someone who should have been eliminated a long time ago is sitting there and chilling. However, they are also aware that the malfunctions don't really happen, as Josephine has created the system for these students, and she can't make mistakes. Annoyed, the examiner summons the monsters by his own in Corin's space. Their eyes widen in shock when they witness Corin defeating the monsters in just 7.3 seconds. They stumble back and call out for Professor Furmak to see this exceptional sight. Unaware of everything, Furmak is confused. Despite that, the examiner learns from Furmak that the fastest record among the 3rd and 4th rank students under his supervision belongs to a kid named Jaeger, who completed it in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. This is unreal for everyone. Hearing this, the examiner becomes curious and wants to see more of Corin's capabilities, assuming that he might be a son of a hunter, noticing his exceptionality at throwing the spear. In that case, he summons a 4th rank monster, Matt Bohr, but to his surprise, Corin kills it in 3.7 seconds. This makes him even more curious about Corin's true potential, so he sends the 3rd rank monster, Owlbear, now because the test only goes up to 3rd rank monsters. Being a 3rd rank monster, Owlbears are definitely strong, so it doesn't really go into the defend mode but attacks Corin as well. Noticing it in the attack mode, Corin quickly uses the rune magic. Flames erupt in the space, engulfing the owlbear in the fire, but it doesn't seem to attack much, so as long as it gets caught in the blaze, Corin quickly attacks it with a spear and defeats it easily. All the examiners are shocked. With that, they come to the conclusion that this player is definitely not a 6th ranked player, and is someone who shows quite the potential after a very long time. However, after the monster killing test, the evil spirit test begins. As soon as the evil spirits are summoned, Korin can't see or hear them because of the promise he took while engraving the runes in his body to not perceive spirits. Korin still tries waiting for a minute, but when it is confirmed that he can actually not interfere with evil spirits, he gives up eventually. Later on at the Merkaba Hall, students are talking about their ranks. That is when Korin's gaze darts towards Jaeger Hinchpeter. In the past life, this guy got killed by Park Sihu because he was so full of himself. Still, he is, but it is probably because of the age factor. With that, Lark, a 5th rank player who looks evidently uncomfortable. In the past life he was bullied and couldn't ever get over his complexes, and he also had the same luck as Jaeger, got killed too. Meanwhile, the director, Aryu Kasar, welcomes all the students, wishing them luck, hoping that the students will be learning and will find their own path in this place. Later on, when they all roam around, Jaeger notices Lark sitting at the corner and decides to bully him like in the past life. But this time, Korin has planned to not let him do it, so he immediately reaches out to them and cleverly talks about Jaeger's tattoos, which makes Jaeger happy that someone has a knowledge of tattoos like him. Korin only knows this because in his past life, when Jaeger went missing, his mother came to the academy. Out of worry, she revealed that his tattoos weren't just for show, they were something she had discovered, trying to protect herself